I think it was Carly Telford was telling her that a game lasts 90 minutes. She was like, but with your 15-minute break, obviously it's like 105 minutes. And she was like, is the 15-minute break not included in the 90 minutes? And she's been playing the game for about 20 years.
Hello
so.
and welcome to Boot Room Chat, your weekly catch-up with the biggest names in women's football. This week, I'm delighted to say we are joined by Everton and England's Jill Scott. Welcome, Jill.
Hello, are you okay?
Very well, thank you. Very well indeed. Thank you for joining us this morning. 2012, a big year for you as well in terms of obviously playing, scoring and starring for Team GB in the Olympics. 2013 set to be an equally big year with the Euros. What are you hoping for both personally and also at club and country level in 2013?
Just kind of, I think the first thing is just to train hard. I'm kind of in Liverpool a lot more now. I think one of my things at the beginning of the season that I set myself was to just try and settle in one place in terms of training more and just getting in a bit of a routine. So I feel like that's been going well. In the past, I've probably missed quite a few sessions with Everton due to travelling backwards and forwards from Sunderland to Liverpool. So in terms of that, I just want to get into a better routine, as I said, and I feel like that's gone well so far. And just to really try and keep playing well. As you mentioned, the Euros are coming up, so I just want to kind of keep trying to play well and put myself into the frame for selection for that. I was lucky enough to go in 2009, and it was a fantastic experience. And I think all the girls that are involved in the squad now just really want to make that squad to go to Sweden.
Of course, and the recent result against Canada shows that England as a side will be going into the Euros full of confidence and hopefully can go there and perform well and maybe go one better than 2009.
Yeah, I feel like it's been going well so far. The tournament in Cyprus, we kind of set ourselves that we wanted to win that and did that. It's not an easy tournament. Lots of difficult teams in there, as you mentioned, Canada, playing them in the final. It was a difficult game, but we just want to try and keep winning. I think that's kind of a habit that we definitely want to get into, and I think that's shown recently. Playing Canada again, we probably didn't play our best football at times, but then good teams tend to win sometimes when they haven't played that well. So yeah, that's definitely our aim. I think we want to go to the Euros and, as you say, kind of turn that silver into gold. And I'm sure the squad's capable of doing that.
Winning that. You mentioned Toni, obviously your Everton teammate. She scored, I think, 4 goals in her first 2 matches of the season. It must be great to have a player in your side who you're also now starting to play with more regularly at international level, knowing that you've got one of the best young players in the Super League, within your ranks.
Yeah, she's been fantastic for us. She has been for a number of years, to be honest. It's great to see her in the England setup as well. And as you say, our goals that she scored, I think if anyone were to see the goals back, they were brilliant goals as well, like a couple of 30-yarders in there. But she's just got such power in her shot. But yeah, fantastic to play with her. I think it's great when you're playing, you always kind of look for a player that's going to produce something when games are tight, and I think we've definitely got that in Toni. But I know what Toni's like. I know that she'd definitely swap our goals for wins and points on the board, and I think that she hasn't even really been that happy last week, even though she scored so many goals, because we haven't been winning. And I think that's kind of the mentality that we want at Everton, that we just want to win games, and it's not really about individual performances, even though she has done fantastic.
She certainly has. And so you talked on a little bit more about what Toni's like as a player. We want to find out a little bit more about your teammates, both at Everton and at England. So we've got 5 or 6 questions. Want you to give us your first answer, your first honest answer as well. We'll have to find out who you've got here. So, as I said, can be from both Everton or England. Who's the best in training?
Best in training, right? Since we're getting a bit fun, I'm going to use this app that Bass and KB use. So we're going to use this. Since we're not being serious anymore, I need to pick a good one.
Since the serious questions are finished.
Yeah. Oh, best trainer, that's a difficult one. Right, I'll go for at Everton. I would say I might give it to the kids actually. I think like Paige Williams, Lucy Whip, Shani, they've all come in and done really well this season and definitely give 100% in training. I'm saying the kids like I'm getting old now,
So
but they're like under 19s players.
so the kids get the best training. Who's worst in training? Who just really can't be bothered?
You know what? This season, like everybody's kind of give 100%, definitely, and like I'm not just kind of saying that. I'd feel a bit harsh. I'm gonna have to give it to our sports scientist when he joins in, Dava as we call him. He's awful, so I think I'm gonna give it to him. And then in England, I would also give it to our video technician, Phil. I think when they get when the teams are sometimes called out, I think that's the first thing you look for to see if you've got Phil on your team. So. Yeah, I'm going to give it to the staff as opposed to the players.
So stick to the day jobs for them. Then get Phil's fine at videoing and analysing the game, but getting him involved in the game is an absolute no.
Yes, definitely. I think the girls would definitely agree with us.
Worst dress sense.
Worst dress sense. God. You know what? Because she'll actually kill us for giving her this, but I'm going to give it to the Scousers at Everton, so I'm going to give it to Toni Duggan. She makes such an effort, but like her heels are just so big. Like she has like rainbow coloured shoes. I think a lot of the girls would say that she dresses very well, which I'm not saying she doesn't, but the Scouse style definitely isn't for me. Don't hate us, Toni.
So you've not been persuaded into the Scouse dress sense in your time with Everton?
No, not yet. I tend to wear a pair of false eyelashes on a night out, but that's as far as it's gone. If I started to wear some of the heels that they wore, I wouldn't even fit in the doors of clubs and stuff. So. Not that we ever go clubbing.
Yeah, of course. Right, let's fire a few more at you. Biggest moaner. Who's always moaning?
I'm taking this off now. Biggest moaner, I would have to say Lindsay Johnson. God, she'll kill us for that. Just sometimes in a game, if something's not going her way, she'll definitely make sure that it gets sorted, which is a good thing. But sometimes not whilst the game's actually going on. So I'd probably have to say Lindsay Johnson.
Jono's biggest moaner. Most skillful player.
Most skillful. Right, I'll pick from England now. Most skillful. God, there's quite a few skillful players. Definitely not me. I just tend to go for the kick and run. Jess Clark, she's very skillful. Sometimes before training, when we're just messing around with the football, she'll do all these dances and around the world and stuff like that. So I'm going to give it a Jess actually.
Jess Clark for most skillful. Then last two, who's the joker of the camp?
Joker of the camp. God. We all like to have a laugh, to be honest. Oh, God. It's a hard one. I'm going to probably say Annie, just because she cracks us up. Our room with her a lot of the time. Our latest one, actually, I'll tell you this. So she's one of the cleverest people I've ever met. Obviously, she's a lawyer. But she actually asked one of the girls the other day, I think it was Carly Telford, was telling her that a game lasts 90 minutes. She was like, but with your 15-minute break, obviously it's like 105 minutes. And she was like, is the 15-minute break not included in the 90 minutes? And she's been playing the game for about 20 years, so it can be quite worrying at times. But I'm going to say Annie because she always makes us laugh.
That is brilliant. Yeah, so it's taken her till now to find out that the 15 minutes isn't included in the 90.
Exactly. So.
Okay, then very finally, who's always late for the bus? Which one player, no matter where you are, is always late for the bus?
God, we're not allowed to be late for the bus. But I would say, you know what, I'm going to have to say Annie again. I'm going to definitely have to say Annie again. I remember going to one game, and it was like a kind of behind closed doors game. So we were told to take our strips on the bus. So not only was she late for the bus, but then when we got to the game, she'd also forgot her strip. So I'm going to have to go for any again. Sorry.
No, well, we found out that yeah, we found out a bit there, haven't we? So poor Annie,
Yeah.
she's got a bit of stick there. So we're gonna have to get
Mm,
Annie. We have to get Annie on Boot Room Chat and get to find out a little bit more about you. I think, given that she's your roommate, and trying to give her the
God, yeah.
chance to have her say back.
I love her, really. Love
Right,
her.
we've had some great questions in over the last week or so for you from Twitter. So we're going to go through them now. Don't
Okay.
forget that if you're watching, you can tweet us at BootRoomChat using hashtag #BRChat, and each week we'll put your questions to our guests. So this first one came from Abby Lyle, and she says, "Who do you think the best female player in the world is at the moment?"
God, in the world. Well, at the kind of World Player of the Year just gone, I really thought Christine Sinclair'd be in there from Canada, but she didn't make the top three. So, in my opinion, she should have won that based on her performances at the Olympics, getting a hat trick against America. Like, kind of, that's just such a fantastic achievement in itself. So, I'm probably going to say her actually.
Great answer. Second one is from Holly Allen, and she says, "Who's in control of the music in the England dressing room, and whose music would you always want to turn off?"
God. Alex Scott's in charge of the music. She always has the new stuff booming. So, yeah, she's in charge of the music and she has good tunes, like, to be fair. We had a music quiz the other day on camp in Cyprus and she literally got every one right and they'd only played about 2 seconds of the song. So I'm sure it was a quiz from her playlist. But, yeah, so she's in charge. Whose music would I like to turn off? God, that's a difficult one. I always see Casey kind of bobbing her head along to some tunes at the front of the bus, and seem to be quite slow ones. So I'm going to say Casey just to stitch her up a bit.
So Captain Stoney likes a power ballad. Is that what you're saying?
I reckon she does. I can't really hear what's coming out of her iPod, but I reckon it'll be something like "I Will Always Love You" or something.
Casey Stoney's power ballad collections. I can see that being an album for Christmas. Right. Next
Yeah,
one.
that's a good idea.
Next one is from Supermarine Ladies, and they ask, if you weren't playing football, is there another sport that you would have excelled in?
I was going to say, if I wasn't playing football, I think I'd be screwed at the minute because I could have done with getting a degree or something somewhere along the line. Another sport I would have had to be running. I think I've kind of, when I've done interviews in the past, it's kind of been mentioned that I used to do a bit of running, represented, like ran in the English schools for 1500 metres, won the mini London Marathon when I was 14, although it was only 3 or 4 miles. Although I tell people it was 20 odd. So yeah, I think it would have been long distance running.
So you could have, if you kept that going, we could have perhaps seen you in the Olympics alongside Mo Farah and Jess and the like.
I don't know about going that far. I might have been participating in the Great North Run or something. I don't know about the Olympics.
Right, next question is from, and excuse me if I get the pronunciation of this wrong, Sid Elise, who asks, who do you get on with best at Everton and England?
It's Everton and England. I get on with all of them, to be honest. I wouldn't say there's anyone that I don't get on with, and I'm not gonna announce it live on here. God, you know what? All that I really do, like, there's no one I would say I don't get on with. I think we all just have a laugh together, all hang around together. It's not like there's groups of twos and threes. It's just kind of after a meeting or after dinner, we'll all just kind of sit down, grab a coffee, and just all have a laugh. And I think that's kind of the best thing about the team spirit at the minute, both at England and Everton, that everybody just gets on and kind of there's no groups of people. So I know it's a bit of a poor answer, but it's the truth.
Excellent. This one's from Lucy Baker, who asks, what advice would you give to someone who hopes to play in the WSL one day?
I would just say kind of keep enjoying your football. I think kind of the higher up you get, the training gets difficult, and it does kind of take up a lot of your life in a good way. It's kind of, if that's what we've dreamed of doing since being young. But I would say just keep enjoying it. If you can keep doing that, then you're going to put more into it and obviously perform better in games. So yeah, work hard and enjoy it.
Good answer. The last couple now. This one is from someone who I'm sure you know well. He's a name which everyone knows within women's football, and is very active on social media. He's got a great question for you. This one's from Sylvan, who asks, how close were you to signing abroad, or have you ever been tempted to go and play abroad?
I think at the end of last season, obviously at club we were on 2-year contracts, so I think everybody's contract obviously ran out last season. I wasn't sure what I was going to do in terms of Mo had left Everton. There was big changes. I wouldn't say that I would never not go abroad, but I am happy with my decision to stay at Everton. Obviously, a very big achievement for myself that I get to be captain this year. And just really enjoying it. There's a lot of young players who are willing to work hard, and I just feel very kind of honoured to be given the captain's armband this season. So I'm not saying that I would ever rule it out, but at the minute I'm happy at Everton.
I think that was a very diplomatic answer. A very diplomatic answer. The last two. First one is from Doherty12, who asked, "Who's the best player you've ever played against?"
Played against? I'd have to say Carly Lloyd, actually. We played them in a friendly, which we actually won. I think it was 2-0. Yeah, well done, Lee. Always count on you for your women's football knowledge. Yeah, and she was playing centre midfield, and she was just kind of so quick on the ball, like our first 5 yards. And I just thought she was a brilliant player that game. So yeah, I'd have to say Carly Lloyd.
Carly Lloyd. And the very final question from Amy Sims, who asks, "What's the best thing about playing for Everton?"
The best thing about playing for Everton, I think this season it's been very good. Kind of the amount of times that we've been able to get in the Finch Farm, where the men train, and obviously up our training sessions. It feels a lot more professional this season. We've kind of gone from training twice a week to up to 4 times a week plus a game. So yeah, I would just say kind of being given the use of the men's facilities and obviously training more.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Jill, for all those answers, and thank you to everyone who submitted their questions. Some great questions in there. For joining us this morning. Really appreciate your time. We'll let you go off and enjoy training for the rest of the weekend, and best of luck for Everton with the rest of the season. And with the beard, I think the beard looks good. I like the beard. Yeah, maybe hit randomise one more time, see what you come up with.
Right, this is my final one.
That is the one. I think that's the one that is the one to leave us on.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, Jill, thank you ever so much for your time this morning. Really, really appreciate it. Best of luck. We hope to see you in the Euros in the summer, and if not, certainly before with Everton. And don't forget, everyone, you can follow us on Twitter at BootRoomChat. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and also +1 us on Google. So for now, thank you very much to Jill. Thank you, Jill.
Right, see you later. Thank you.
And don't forget to join us here next week, and we'll have another great guest on Boot Room Chat. Thank you very much, and see you soon.